Hello everybody, it is Tom, and today is book release day. Yay! Was that too much?
I've been going to some dark places. I hate it when my mind races. I've got so many.
So before we get started, I just got in the mail my Heartstopper t-shirt. Ooh, yeah, nice. And I was like, perfect, I'll wear it for the video. And then I put it on, and number one, you could not see Nick or Charlie at all because of the microphone and where I'm sitting. So I could have sat like way back here and recorded from here so you could actually see it, or, well, there's no or. That's all I could have done. Or I could have been like this the whole time. Hey, I'm Tom. You should buy my book. Also, the shirt needs to be washed because it has a scent. It has an odor. It is fragrant, and yeah, it needs to be washed before I wear it. All right, so let's get started on the reason I have called you all here today, which is that I'm very happy to say that as of today, Monday, June 24th, which is actually tomorrow because I'm recording this on Sunday, as of today, Monday, June 24th, my third queer young adult novel, The Boy Who Was Kissed, is officially out in the world. Hooray, hooray, applause, applause, clap, clap, clap. But what is this book about, and why should you want to read it? Well, I'm going to tell you, because if I don't, then I don't know what I'm going to talk about in this video. All right, let's start with the premise. So, our main character is Jasper Sinclair. He's just moved to the lovely little town of Nelson Springs, Illinois, with his dad after his parents' divorce. And through coincidence, or maybe fate being kind of okay for once, he finds himself at a new school that just happens to have a familiar face in it. And that familiar face belongs to Felix Morales, who was Jasper's absolute ride-or-die best friend back in 5th grade. So, you know, being old friends, you would think they'd have a pretty great reunion, but sadly, this is not the case because there was drama. Back when Felix and Jasper were 10 years old, Felix kissed Jasper, just impulsively and quite sweetly, on the playground at school. And that might have been the start of something new and pretty wonderful for them, except some other kids saw and started making fun of them because kids are jerks sometimes. And some other kids came over and were like, hey, we're also going to be jerks. And Jasper, instead of being like, hey, Felix, I really like that you kissed me, but people were being dicks, so maybe let's talk about this later in private, Jasper succumbs to peer pressure and acts like he also thought the kiss was awful and gross instead of, you know, the best moment of his young life. This was not just because of the whole peer pressure thing, but also because Jasper has some pretty intense stuff going on with his very religious mother, which, well, you'll see what that's about if you read the book. But yeah, so obviously Felix is just crushed by this, and from that moment on, Felix and Jasper don't really hang out anymore, and Felix is bullied so badly that he eventually ends up transferring schools, and he and Jasper just don't see each other anymore. Cut to today. Jasper is 16, and he's spent pretty much the last 5 years really regretting everything that happened with Felix. More so since over that time he's come to realize that yes, he is gay, and yes, he did want Felix to kiss him, and he wishes that he would have reacted differently when Felix did kiss him. So now he's gonna actually be going to school with Felix again, and he's like, yes, finally I can apologize and try to make this right. He's not sure if Felix will forgive him or not, but he knows that he has to try. So it's the first day of school. Jasper heads to his locker. You know, he's scanning all the faces in the hallway, hoping one of them will turn out to be Felix, but Felix is nowhere to be seen. And then just when Jasper's about to give up, he catches some movement out of the corner of his eye, and he turns, and it's Felix. Felix is standing by a locker just a few feet away. He looks very different, obviously, because it's been 5 years, but Jasper immediately is like, holy crap, it's Felix. So they lock eyes for a second, and Jasper waits for Felix to react or say his name or do something. But Felix just turns and walks away. And as the day goes on, Jasper learns more about the person Felix is now, and he's pretty shocked to discover that Felix is he's like a soccer god at this school. He's one of the best soccer players on the team. He's super popular. He's dating the most popular girl from the cheerleading squad. His best friends are these like dude bros from the soccer team who spend all their time making fun of queer kids. Because what else do you do when you're a dude bro with too much time on your hands? So this is a huge blow to Jasper, not just because, you know, the Felix he remembers was just one of the kindest, sweetest, nicest people he'd ever known back in the day, but also because Jasper blames himself for all this. You know, if he hadn't rejected Felix when they kissed, if he'd stood strong with him against the bullying and not turned his back on him, maybe it wouldn't have gotten so bad that Felix got to this point where he's rejecting the queer side of himself completely. So Jasper is understandably pretty depressed about this, and, you know, in his state of shock and denial, he ends up just blurting out a lot of the story to a guy he meets in his first period class. So this guy is Cameron Matsumoto Rogers, or Cam, who is this huge football player looking guy who Jasper is pretty intimidated by at first, just looking at him. But the second Cam opens his mouth, Jasper realizes, no, this is essentially like a big bear-sized ray of sunshine disguised as a human boy. Like Cam is the best. I love Cam. So I know you shouldn't have favorites when you are a parent or an author, but Cam is my favorite. So, oh hey Darla. Darla has come to meow at me. What's up, my dear? What's up? You want to say something? You want to say something to the people? Yeah, so Jasper spills the whole story to Cam, not meaning to out Felix. He's just in this state of shock, and it just blurts out. So Cam also, there's hair all over the place now. Yeah, so Cam also just happens to be the president of the QSA, the Queer Straight Alliance, and together, there's still hair on my nose. And together, he and Jasper hatch a plan to get Jasper and Felix alone together, so Jasper can try to figure out what happened and help Felix back on the road to being himself again. So that's the basic plot of the story. Cam and Jasper teaming up to help Jasper reconnect with Felix, and try to help him heal. There's loud meowing in the background. The more time that Cam and Jasper spend together, the more Jasper starts to realize that he's happier than he's ever been in his whole life, and it's Cam who's making him feel that way. So I've said before that I am not a huge fan of love triangles as a trope. And so you may be asking yourself why I would write a book that's focused on a love triangle if I don't actually like them. And the reason for that is, I don't know actually, but it's just how the story played out. But rest assured that this is not your typical like drama and angst-filled love triangle. It's a love triangle story written by someone who is not a big fan of love triangles, and also someone who likes lovely, happy stories where no one is too miserable and everyone has something to feel good about by the end. So if you like those kinds of stories and you like a big, diverse cast of queer characters, The Boy Who Was Kissed might be a good book to try. And if you like stories about queer trans kids coming out, falling in love, and learning how to walk through other people's dreams, you can check out my other recent release, Dreamers, for all your book reading needs. So yeah, if you like uplifting stories about romance and friendship and celebrating queerness, definitely check out The Boy Who Was Kissed, and please consider leaving a rating and review over on Amazon and Goodreads if you do, because that makes it a lot more likely that someone else will read the book, and that is the goal, for people to read it, because, you know, it's a book. So, okay, well, that's going to do it for this video, and fans of Heartstopper Game Time and Heartstopper Comics vs. Show, do not fear, I'm working on a video for both of those things. It's just gonna depend on when I have time to get them finished. Things are pretty busy at work at the moment, so I do appreciate your patience as I do my best to get these videos out every week, while also working full-time and writing, and also trying to have some small semblance of a social life as well. So, as always, huge thanks to our patrons who are so amazing and so wonderful and so fantastic. And a special shout out to our Nick Nelson members, Kelly Walker, Paul Z, Kent Smither, Kim Engel, Lauren Javier, and Mark Walker. Okay, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing and all the awesome things that you do. And massive thanks to anyone who checks out this book or any of my others. I really can't tell you how much it means to me to not only have my books out in the world, but to know that other people are actually reading them and connecting with them. It seriously means so much. So, thank you. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day or night or whatever time of day it may happen to be, and I'll see you next time. Bye.